You can't fix what you refuse to confront. And that's the hard truth. Most people are more comfortable living with dysfunction than facing the discomfort of honesty. We lie to ourselves. We cover up the pain with distractions, with noise, with fake confidence. But healing only begins when we're willing to look in the mirror and say, I'm not okay, and it's on me to change that. That level of self-confrontation is painful, but it's necessary, because there is no transformation without truth. If the foundation is cracked and you just keep building on top of it, eventually the whole structure collapses. The same is true with your life until you admit what's broken. Your thinking, your attitude, your routines. You'll keep repeating the same self-destructive patterns under the illusion of progress. This isn't about self-loathing. It's about radical accountability. It's about understanding that the broken pieces of your life aren't your identity. They're just the starting point. You can't escape the responsibility of fixing yourself by blaming circumstances or people. That only delays the repair. And the longer you wait to admit what's wrong, the deeper the damage becomes. Stop lying to yourself. The mirror is brutal, but it's the beginning of freedom. There's a brutal clarity that comes when you realize no one is obligated to rescue you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your mentor, not even the world that once promised you potential. And while that might sound harsh, it's actually liberating. Because embedded in that realization is the power of personal agency. If you keep waiting for someone else to fix what's broken in your life, you've already surrendered control. You've made your healing dependent on something outside of you. And that's a dangerous game to play. Eric Thomas says it best. You can't want it for someone more than they want it for themselves. The same goes for your own growth. You can't keep hoping someone will show up and carry you across the finish line. Taking responsibility means embracing the loneliness of self-discipline. It means choosing to get up early when no one's watching, doing the work when no one claps, staying focused when no one checks in. That's the real test. What do you do when it's just you? Because if you can't carry yourself through the valley, you'll never stand tall on the mountain. Don't wait for rescue. Become the kind of person who doesn't need one. There's a common misconception that change begins with inspiration. It doesn't. Change begins with structure, repetitive, often boring, deliberate action taken in defiance of who you used to be. Discipline, not emotion, is what rewires the mind. We tend to chase feelings. I don't feel motivated. I'm not in the mood. I'll wait until I'm ready. But that mindset keeps people stuck for years, sometimes a lifetime. Discipline, by contrast, is indifferent to emotion. It's an act of defiance against chaos, internal and external. It's the daily ritual of asserting order over disorder. Wake up when you say you will. Exercise even when it hurts. Study even when it's dull. These aren't just habits. They are psychological recalibrations. They signal to your subconscious that you are no longer operating from impulse, but from intention. The truth is, discipline is therapy. Every disciplined act tells your story differently. It transforms your identity from someone who reacts to someone who leads. And eventually, you begin to believe in that new version of yourself. Not because you dreamed it, but because you proved it day by day. If you want to heal, stop waiting to feel better. Start doing better. The feeling will follow the function. Excuses are psychological anesthetics. They dull the sting of failure just enough to make you feel okay about staying the same. But here's the danger. They also rob you of the urgency required for growth. Every time you justify procrastination, every time you rationalize why you didn't follow through, you reinforce a mindset that values comfort over character. And character is built in conflict against your own laziness, your own doubt, your own fears. People often say, I'm working on it, as if vague intention has the same weight as actual execution. But the truth is stark. You either did the work or you didn't. You either made the call or you didn't. There is no moral credit for almost. Habits don't care how you feel. They only care what you repeatedly do. And when your daily decisions are governed by excuse rather than principle, your identity begins to shift in the wrong direction. You don't just fail. You become the kind of person who expects to fail. That's the danger of chronic excuse making. So, if you're serious about changing your life, kill the excuses before they kill your progress. Every excuse you silence is one brick laid in the foundation of your future. One of the most misunderstood aspects of personal growth is forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness. People think it's about letting yourself off the hook, about ignoring your past or pretending the damage wasn't real. But true forgiveness is far more demanding. It requires you to fully confront your failures, take ownership of the consequences, and then make the conscious decision to rise anyway. Forgiveness is not the end of accountability. It's the beginning of transformation. You're not doing yourself any favors by staying stuck in guilt. Guilt without growth just becomes a prison you choose to live in. When you forgive yourself, you're not saying it didn't matter. You're saying it matters so much that you refuse to let it define your future. But here's the catch. Real forgiveness demands follow through. It demands that you expect more from yourself now than you did before. It means raising your standards so the past doesn't repeat itself. Because if you forgive yourself and continue the same behaviors, you're not healing. You're enabling. Use your pain as fuel. Let your regret sharpen your focus, not soften your resolve. The past can be your teacher, but only if you stop using it as a reason to stay broken. People talk a lot about fixing their lives, getting a better job, improving their finances, working on relationships. But very few talk about fixing their standards. And that's where the real transformation begins. Your life is a reflection of what you're willing to tolerate from yourself first, and then from others. If you constantly let yourself off the hook, if you keep accepting mediocrity in the name of being realistic or patient, don't be surprised when your environment mirrors that same low bar. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And what you are is defined by the standards you enforce when no one else is watching. Raising your standards means telling the truth when it's easier to lie, choosing discipline when it's more comfortable to drift, and demanding integrity from yourself, even when there's no immediate reward. This isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. When your standards rise, your actions shift, your thoughts sharpen, and your entire life begins to recalibrate. That's not magic. That's the outcome of internal architecture done right. So if you really want to fix yourself, stop tweaking your goals and start upgrading your standards. Because the level you live at will never rise above the level you're willing to expect.